Welcome to a brief tour of Lexis Plus AI. In this tour, we're going to cover the new features of Lexis, but also be aware that new features may be added at any time. So there might be new boxes that appear when you run this video or when you try it out in the future. To get to Lexis AI, the first step is to use this little box of 3x3 squares. Click on it, and then click over here in the top in the second column where it says Lexis Plus AI. That will take you to this new screen, which gives you three options: ask a legal question, generate a draft, and summarize a case. Let's look at summarize a case first. Let's say that we have a case that we'd like to summarize. Paul's graph, that's a great choice. We're going to copy, paste it in here, and we're going to click, and it will now generate a response. Remember, AI is slower than Google search because it is actually creating new content rather than merely searching a database and returning existing content. So while we wait, note the options on the side. Some of these options are new and we'll be using them later. So don't think of Lexis AI as just this one tab. It's really features added throughout the tool. So here we have the result, the procedural posture. If you need a quick answer of what the case held, the railroad was not liable for injuries resulting to a passenger. And then it gives you a textual overview here of the facts of the case and the outcome. Let's say we'd like something else. We'd like to know what was the name of the railroad? We don't really know, even though it's here, Long Island Railroad. So we can ask it additional information and it will follow up. Don't assume that just because you asked it one question, you have to stop. Lexis AI will generally give you 5 chances or 4 chances to add on with follow-up questions. So in this case, you'll see also that there's a history. So if you note in the left-hand column, there's a history of all the questions that I've asked. So here we have the additional information, summarizing the case, and it is telling me the citations, and it is not actually answering the question. It is merely giving me citations that include the name of the railroad. Let's say we'd like... let's see what happens. This is something you may be used to from ChatGPT, is that you can change the format of the response. I'm not sure that Lexis is going to let you do this. So be aware that this is quite a constrained environment, which is defined by what they expect you to want. So Lexis is saying it can't summarize the case because it didn't really understand that I was asking for it to turn it into a haiku. So this is another way in which Lexis Plus AI is different from ChatGPT. It won't let you discuss anything you want. Okay, we're going to start again and create a new conversation. And what that does is that lets us go back to this frame where we can do a different option. So now what I'd like to do is ask a legal question. I'm going to select the jurisdiction, and I'm going to choose the jurisdiction of Washington and apply it. In addition, you can see here that it includes certain types of materials: case law, codes, rules, and constitutions, practical guidance, and treatises. In addition, just like the helpful video, there is a set of prompting tips that are specific to Lexis Plus AI, although these will be pretty similar across all generative AI. So let's close that and ask, are there exceptions to the So now we're asking it a legal question. I have not followed up on what the rule against perpetuities is and how it applies or what exceptions there are to it in Washington State. So we're just going to find out what is the answer. Note that you have to include the jurisdiction, otherwise it won't really know what you're talking about. And this is the very beginning of legal AI. So don't assume that by the summer it will look anything like this. It will likely have better built-in prompting. It will likely have broader results. It will likely have more sophisticated answers. But this is just the starting point, and it's only going to get better from here. While we wait, okay, the rule against perpetuities in Washington state can be invalidated under certain circumstances. Parties in a case agreed, and it then goes on and it discusses a very specific situation. In this case, Kennewick Public Hospital District versus Hall. You can find additional information in other cases. So here we have a whole different situation, and you can then also check these citations just by continuing to scroll down, where you will see these symbols that you're used to from the Lexis treatment. So this can be a very valuable tool for doing legal research because it cuts through multiple different types of sources. At the same time, remember, you cannot rely on these answers fully. You need to confirm that these cases are good law still, or that they, say what you think they say. You cannot rely on this document and submit it to a court. You'll note there are a couple other really great features. First of all, you can view more documents if you'd like to see additional documents on this matter. You can also go to the bottom, and what they've done is they've pre-selected 3 potential prompts. You could run the same question in Oregon. You could summarize the case law and integrate it all into one memo. And here we're going to draft a memo based on this output. So we're going to just click this, and all we're doing, it says, is draft a legal memo. So remember, if you're ever asking it some question, you can use the prompt draft a legal memo to convert the answer into a memo format. And it tells you exactly what assumptions it's making. It's formulating a query with the jurisdiction of Washington. It's retrieving the context from the previous question to draft a legal memo. And then it's integrating that content into a single memo format rather than that sort of bulleted model with one paragraph on each case. So this is more sophisticated than the equivalent of give me some cases that address my topic. And this is a fairly classic format that you could work with. An introduction, a statement of facts, and then legal standards and rules, a substantive analysis here, and then a conclusion. So this is a great format for a memo. It includes citations, and then at the bottom it also includes these citations. So it's basically auto-checking the content of the memo. Now, generally, there's possible negative treatment indicated in several of the cases that they cited. So you're going to want to investigate that and make sure that possible negative treatment is not related to the issue for which you're citing the case. Remember, a case stands for multiple different points all at the same time. And these yellow triangles may not relate to anything against the rule against perpetuities and instead relate to some civil procedure issue in the case or something else. So just be sure that you're not relying on AI to do everything, that it's trust but verify. Now we're going to clear the conversation. We've seen the memo writing, we've seen the ask a legal question, and we've seen the summarize a case. There's some other really cool features built in. Over here, you'll see that they include document analysis. So what document analysis will do is it will analyze a brief or passage and validate your research and strengthen your arguments. And one great feature is if you want to go back to the legal assistant here, right? We can go back to are there exceptions? Let's copy and paste this memo here. And let's take it to document analysis. We could also have copied it just using the copy button. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to analyze a brief or passage. Note you can also compare multiple briefs And you can analyze agreements. So if you're interested in transactional uses, it's over here. But we're now going to analyze a brief or passage. We're going to enter text. We could have uploaded a file, which could be opposing counsel's file or yours. We're going to click in the box, paste here, and we're going to say Start Analysis. At this point, it has a range of information. It's found some briefs that are similar. It's found some recommendations for material to include. It includes some procedural information. And then it also includes data. No quotations were found. Now that's interesting, right? Because normally you would expect case citations. But in this case, generative AI has summarized these issues. But that text does not exist in the cases themselves. Therefore, they were not copied from the cases. So now what we're going to do is we'll click on, I'll just scroll down here. Here are some additional concepts. So I never included power of termination or named person. But I might want to include those in a future question. So this can be very helpful in crafting the prompts for this matter. But I'm going to go up here and go to recommendations. So here are an extensive series of recommendations of cases to look at, treatises to investigate, and a variety of other matters that can strengthen your memo. So again, don't rely on the AI to complete the memo. It's only a starting point, and you can then go and enhance it. That concludes a brief tour of Lexus AI. Thank you.